Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's HBCU game day heading into the weekend. Let's check in with the big bro, the mentor, the man. He's everywhere. Even when you don't see him, he is there. He's Dr. Kenyatta Cavil. He's with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab, but this weekend, it's all about the Black College World Series in Montgomery, Alabama. We're getting through the elimination round on Friday, setting ourselves up for Championship Saturday. Doc, if people are on the fence, man, you have to let them know Montgomery is the place to be this weekend for baseball.
Yeah, if you want some big-time baseball, championship-level baseball, you need to be here in Montgomery, where they'll be crowned a Black College World Series champion. The best of the NCAA Division II, the best of the NAIA will clash to see which one round supreme in terms of a Black College World Series championship.
Doc, what does it take to put a week like this together? You got teams from different conferences. That's a lot of individual conversations you guys have to have. You bring in a sponsor with Tyson Foods. The Black College World Series, again, getting better and better each year. Before we talk about who's left, who's going to be in the championship, man, talk about that behind-the-scenes push, that heavy lift, that effort it takes to put on an event like this.
That's what I'm really excited about, because that's really what I was brought to the table for. I'm a senior consultant with the Black College Championships, in this case, the Tyson Foods Black College World Series, and it takes months and months of planning, behind the scene, hard work and diligence with individuals that have decided to come together to put this together. And it's several independent groups that you are familiar with that are in the HBCU landscape. You have Black College Nines. The website is dedicated to covering Black College baseball. They're involved in this, led in a lot of ways by Mr. Coker, Michael Coker, who is the brainchild of this. And then you have BCSN Net that puts things together in terms of Roy Evans being able to do the production side of this. So you put those key partners together and you do it over a couple of years, and you get fortunate from the standpoint that you land a sponsor, Tyson Foods. It really allows the magic to happen and allows the college athletes from these 8 institutions, 4 from the NCAA Division II and 4 from the NIA, to come in there and have a great championship event.
So what has the week been like? Everybody came in with hopes and dreams and aspirations, but man, there can only be one. We've had some teams eliminated. Who are we down to? Who is still in the mix as of Friday evening heading into Friday night for that championship?
3 teams have gone home, and you have a couple standings. You had the elimination games today and yesterday, where 2 teams went home last night. And then a third one this morning when Albany State was defeated by Kentucky State, so they're still alive. You have Ruston Edwards playing right now, as you see some of the action literally in the backdrop in regards to one of those teams will go home. You have undefeated teams still playing and getting it done, which is Miles College. They've been able to come through on the NCAA Division II side so far unscathed, and so they're looking really good. And then you have on the NIA teams, when you look at what they're getting done, you have Talladega Tornadoes. They've been fighting through some things to get it done, but really looking good. None other than Florida Memorial out of the greater Miami has come through here unscathed. And so they're waiting to see. They're kind of waiting in that catbird seat, as you talk about, to see who they'll play this evening, to see if they can go ahead and cash their chip to go into the championship game and face the opposite side, NAIA or NCAA Division II. And it should be a big one. A lot of luminaries are coming in tomorrow in terms of being excited about this game. You know, everybody wants to be a part of the championship. They let all the fluff shake out. And then, all right, you tell me it's the big time, I'm coming in. So we got executive CEO out of Tyson Foods coming in, talk to the students. We had Truist that supported this about financial planning. And you're going to have some individuals that, if not being able to come out of here with some of the major league folks reviewing and watching them scouts out here, if they're not able to get that shot out of it, you have other ones that will have long-lasting jobs and opportunities with some of these companies that sponsor this, about landing a career to help move them forward after they get finished with their baseball career.
Hey, there's one thing you can say about baseball scouts, man. They will show up anywhere. If there's a game, there's going to be a gun right there, a radar gun behind home plate.
And that's exactly what they do. Every time you look up, Like, who is that guy? Must be a scout.
Yeah. So a good chance for these schools and these players, man, to put themselves on film some more. So that's always a great thing. Where exactly in Montgomery are you, Doc? Where's the ballpark?
Really, basically downtown area, Riverwalk Park Stadium, if you would, down here. It's where Montgomery Biscuits play their home games. So people are familiar in this area with the Montgomery Biscuits. This is the facility they use. And so we rented the next to the best you can in Montgomery to make sure they get a high quality experience. So right here in that greater downtown area, Montgomery, folks that are familiar with it, Riverwalk Park, if you would, stadium right here where the Montgomery Biscuits play their home contest.
Man, you had me at biscuit. That caught my attention, man.
Hey, they look like they put syrup on those biscuits with all the merchandise they put around here. I almost lured me to get one.
Hey, I'm kind of a honey on the biscuit type fellow, man, but syrup will work as well, man. On a cheat day. Only on a cheat day, Doc. Dr. Cavill, you're in so many places, man, that people don't always see you. You're involved with so much, a lot of times behind the scenes. You know, we see you on your show every week, of course, but why is it so important for you that people have the right information, the correct information, the data, the analytics, the research within the HBCU space to empower the things that they are trying to do? Why is that so important for you?
First, it's our legacy. I mean, I owe everything to HBCUs in terms of my success. Literally, you know, I live a very nice life, and a lot of that is due to my experiences from HBCUs. And that's not just from my education, but you go back to my grandfather, that was Prairie View, one of the first of two graduating ROTC militaries that got commissioned coming out of Prairie View A&M University. My great uncle at Wiley College, and that was in the 40s. Great uncles in the 20s. You know, so my whole family in many different ways are associated with HBCUs. So it's been extremely important for me to make sure I pass on the legacy. And as you see, we really at the ballpark, so you see the trains coming through here and all the action behind us. But part of that is because I've had the privilege of being educated about this information. So people have passed this on to me, and they have entrusted me to have the correct information. So it's my job to make sure that I pay it forward. And when necessary, when I see people that earnestly want to know how the operations run or how to get better between what I've learned in practice and what I've learned in the books analytically, I believe it's my responsibility and really my duty to pass it forward. So it's fundamentally for me, it's about passing on the legacy. So I'm really glad you asked that question because that's why I do all this work. I've been blessed with so much, and this is my opportunity to pay it forward from a practical application, if you would, and also a theoretical practice as well.
Well, you know, if I had $1 for every time someone got over their skis on Twitter talking about something that they thought they knew about, and someone has to CC Dr. Cavill to come and straighten out the misinformation campaign, I'd be doing pretty good, Doc. So we definitely.
I would too. So just share half the pennies, and I think both of us would be in real good position right now.
Hey, let's give Doc his flowers while he's here, man, because you all will call on his name on Twitter in a minute. Get Dr. Cavill. Where's Dr. Cavill? You know, there's so much happening, so many great things this weekend, Doc. And, you know, you look at the game of baseball, man. We're going to have the SWAC championship coming up. It's going to be a lot of excitement because it's up in the air. Who's going to win that? I don't know. This is not the year where Jackson State is whipping everybody. Everybody is whipping everybody. And just when you think you know who's winning the division, somebody else comes up from second and third place. So it's really been a great year. Overall, what would you say, Dr. Cavill, is the state of blacks in baseball, particularly in the HBCUs in the South? How healthy do you think African-American participation in baseball at the collegiate level and how we're representing there, how healthy would you say that is?
We've heard the numbers at the professional level, and we really need a lot of work to improve those numbers. And the first place that begins at the youth level. But in between that is the college level, and specifically with HBCUs, what we refer to black college baseball, if you would, it's really in a solid position. The expansion of the SWAC, a lot of people looked at football. Some people even got in basketball, whether it was men's and women's. Those that have affinity for baseball were really excited about what the baseball would do in the SWAC in this 12-member format. And what you've been able to find out of late, as you just mentioned, in regards to the switching of these teams in the East, whether it was Bethune-Cookman for a while, Alabama State carrying it out, and just recently FAMU, or whether you're in the West and it was Southern for a while. Oh, no, it was Grambling. No, what about Texas Southern? Then you say, no, Prairie View had their way of it. So it's going down the stretch over the last 2 weekends, which is good for the game in terms of the competitiveness, because all these teams are playing really well. And as you get into the tournament, what you find out is you can't just have a game where you say going in, this is the likely team that is going to either win or at least play for the championship. Any 8 of these teams, including Jackson State, which is the team that came out undefeated until the championship game last year, as all recall, they're sitting in the 4th spot in the East, just to let you know how deep it is. But this is still a quality team. Yes, they've had some injuries in terms of the pitchers as well as some of their top hitters. So, but they have the ability in terms of the championship framework and mindset that they can get in there and mix it up and get it done. And don't forget Southern, the team that derailed Jackson State from that perfect season last year. They're fighting for 3rd and 4th spot. They have a chance this weekend as they play Prairie View to maybe vault all the way up to the top, just to let you know how close these races are. But when you get into this tournament, it's going to be fascinating when you talk about baseball. In a lot of ways, it's going to copy what you've seen in softball in the SWAC, where you have Prairie View getting it done in a lot of ways, sneaking up with both number 1 seeds out of the tournament. And then you see what's going on in MEAC. It's the opposite, with Morgan State just bulldozing folks. So Tuskegee came out of the SIAC in softball, Claflin out of the CIAA. They're in the NCAA Division II tournament. So baseball, softball, if you allow me to push that in at the college level, specifically with HBCUs, and now this Tyson Foods College World Series is really on the uptick. I can only see it getting better over the next couple of years.
I'm glad you brought in softball, because I was thinking about that while you were talking, man. The energy in softball is the most unique thing, because, look, they don't play the big crowds. They don't have the cheerleaders. They have to create their own energy, man. And the thing those young ladies do in the dugout and on the field, and just the passion you see that they have for the game, man, it is a very unique experience in terms of softball at the collegiate level, and I just love it. We do have somebody out shooting at the SWAC this weekend, and it's really been a lot of great content out of there. I talked about this.
I'm glad that you talked about the softball. Jump in there real quick, because they really do a great job of pushing their own teammates and really making the game exciting. One thing I did learn, and you talk about this often, about just how talented NIA team. One of the biggest showcases that's been at this tournament is the NIA programs and how much they rally in terms of small college baseball, about mimicking in some ways the softball fan cheers of the players and pumping them up. It's really been entertaining me, and you don't necessarily see that at the Division I level. Some of that is because of the NCAA rules, but to your point, yes, when you want to really see some entertainment beyond just what's on the field, nothing is above that when you talk about softball, and in this case, NIA baseball as well.
You know, baseball is really the most balanced sport at the college level. And I say that in terms of an upset can happen anytime, and it happens every year. There's going to be at least one HBCU that's going to knock off a Power 5 program in a baseball game. And it's uniquely positioned to do that because of the way the rosters are structured. The amount of games they played is, much, I don't want to say easier, because it still takes hard work, but it's more likely to happen in baseball than it does football or basketball. But this is a sport where HBCUs, it's not a lesser than, not that any sport is, but, people cannot draw that conclusion or put that stereotype on it, because on any given day on the diamond, man, anything can happen.
Yeah, a couple of things that play into that is 11.6 scholarships at the Division I level, and even less so Division II and NIA, which makes the talent disposition differently than when you see at many levels. And then you have the uniqueness of baseball when you have a hot pitcher or a big time bat that can really put you in position. And we see the constant upsets that you talked about. We can go back to Southern Mississippi being defeated by Southern with Ricky Weeks as they were leading Baylor going into the second game deep in that tournament. Jackson State defeated the number one seeded team in that region a couple of years ago in terms of USL, if you would, Lafayette as they call them now. You go to Texas Southern defeating a number one Rice team that went on the year before to win a College World Series. You've seen that. Prairie View had Rice on the ropes. So you've constantly seen it. You've seen Bethune-Cookman go all the way deep and scare the bejesus out of Florida in the second round as they won the first round of that tournament a couple of years ago. So you're right. During midweek games, you see these upset. North Carolina defeating Carolina this year. One of the big wins they've had and hadn't done very well in terms of the move in Big South in baseball, but they got it done in terms of Power 5. So you see these constant, what we would refer to as upsets much more often in the sport of baseball, unlike you see in maybe football, certainly in terms of basketball, which is all Division I as well. So perfect point when you talk about the disposition of baseball. Unfortunately, I may have some tough news, though. You have the transformation committee going on at the NCAA Division I this summer, and there's likely that some of those guidelines for scholarships is going to go to the conference. We know for a fact that SEC, maybe ACC, and the Big 12 are pushing for the ability to name the scholarship that they want to do in baseball. So that may change it a little bit. But right now, it's a sport that you certainly can find your team going a long way against Power 5 conference.
HBCU baseball, HBCU teams are very diverse. And you see a mix and a balance of people. You have white athletes, Latin American, black. So, there are some hardliners that think that, every HBCU school should just have all black athletes, which is not representative of where we are in 2022. What do you think about the balance and the mix that you see on rosters across the landscape?
I think it's one of the best stories out there in terms of diversity that is being played in black college baseball with the differential and the mix of different ethnic groups playing the game. And it's very healthy at HBCUs. And certainly understand those that are concerned that maybe some of these scholarships are coming away from African Americans, but the paucity that you see African Americans playing the game, does that make it actually a realization, if you would, that you're going to get all these African Americans or blacks playing the game? And you even get some people dipping into the Caribbean where you talk about that mix. So I think it's the benefit. And now you're starting to see, we were concerned because you saw North Carolina Central drop baseball. Before that, Winston-Salem State, and you see CIAA not even playing baseball in terms of a conference sport. You do have Virginia State and Claflin out of the CIAA playing independent ball. And obviously you see the concerns that's going on with MEAC. So the fact that you have programs coming up with Xavier and now Dillard bringing in baseball to their programs, I think it's important that you see the sport continue to be played at HBCUs, and the diversity helps that to be the case. And I think it's more important to take advantage of the diversity than it is to allow these programs not to exist.
In your opinion, and this might not be a fair question, but I always think Dr. Cavill can shag any fly ball of a question that I ask him.
I'll go get it.
Is Major League Baseball doing enough to encourage, support? Can they do more, specifically as resources make their way back to the collegiate level, especially at the HBCU level?
For me, no, I don't think Major League Baseball is doing enough. To their credit, I will say this. They are doing quite a bit. But I'm one of those folks that's greedy, $1 billion industry. I know part of it is making sure they return investment to those executives, franchise owners, if you would, in terms of those franchises. But I think they could be doing more. You see them looking at finding ways to invest a little bit here and there with these baseball academies that are popping up across the U.S. They've been all around the world years previous to that. But you also have the fact in a lot of ways that they could be doing more in terms of putting more money into youth programs. The secret I think that baseball needs to really do is they have to find a way to fund baseball in the inner cities at the high school level. They do the RBI programs very well, but they're not in high school urban areas, which is really allowing a lot of athletes move from playing baseball at the youth level, transitioning into basketball and football when they get in high school, and they're losing tons of athletes. So if they're going to do any major next step, and I'm doing this free of charge, so when they do it, you make sure that you send the bill to them and let them know where they heard it right here. They need to go into the high school level and develop baseball programs, if not the junior high level.
And people say it all the time. If you have professional dreams as an athlete, we wish everybody the well. We know the numbers, overall are stacked against you. Only the best of the best make it. But there are more roster spots in baseball, at least in the United States, than any other sport.
And check out the salaries. The retirement package is better. The salaries as you're going through it are better. Yeah, it's a travail to get to the major leagues, if you would, to the show as they like to talk about it. But if you can make it there, boy, I tell you, you're in a very good position at the professional level, your career after it ends, than you are in the other sports, whether that's NBA or certainly the NFL, which is the worst of the three.
Yeah, without a doubt. Doc, if people are sold and they're ready to come check out the championship round at the Black College World Series there in Montgomery, man, anything special they need to do? Can we just walk right up to the box office and get in?
Yeah, walk right up to the box office. There's a game that will kick off around 5 o'clock, depending on how late this game is played right now. And then you have the nightcapper at 8 p.m. If you want to just come to the championships, you can come tomorrow. That game is scheduled for 5 p.m., and those are Central Standard Time. For those in Montgomery, you're aware of that. Just come on out, come to the ballpark, walk on up, and you can get your ticket and see some good baseball.
All right, that's championship action on Saturday. Still got some more games to go on Friday, depending on when you see this video. How's the popcorn out there, Doc? I know you have had a chance to get a little popcorn since you've been there.
Yeah, the food has been good. As you would imagine, having Tyson Foods as doing the ballpark as being part of your food, that doesn't hurt any. So the hot dogs have been very good. Popcorn, the joy. I've been loving it. It's seriously though. It's what you go to the ballpark. You have to get up early in the morning and work it off a little bit. But during the day, you can enjoy it. Just sit back. It's really been good weather too, so it's not been too hot, and a nice little breeze, as you can see here and there. And so it's been good place to come and see some good baseball. Not a bad seat in the house.
Any day it's not hot in Alabama, take advantage of it. Because once that Alabama heat picks up, that's a wrap. It's over.
It's over. Get your jugs of water.
Yes, absolutely. So take advantage of some of that dry air before that humidity kicks in. Dr. Kenyatta Cavil, I know you'll have a complete recap, and you guys will be talking about this weekend's activities next week on Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. So we'll make sure that we check that out. You can always catch that show on YouTube. When are your live? What time is your live show roll off on YouTube during the week?
Tuesday and Thursday at 6 o'clock, and that is Central Standard Time. Tuesday and Thursday at 6 o'clock. We go live.
And you can catch it live on Facebook, right?
Facebook Live, and then you want to check it out on YouTube. We put it there as well. So you can go back. If you can't catch it live, you can go to YouTube Inside the HBCU Sports Lab to catch it whenever it's convenient for your time.
All right, live on Facebook, replay on YouTube. All right, Doc, we appreciate it, man. Enjoy the rest of that baseball this weekend in Montgomery, and all the best to you and the crew who put it all together. I'll see if I can catch you a foul ball, Tyler. I'll put it on the shelf back here. I'll put it on the shelf. All right, take care, Doc. Take care, Tyler. Thank you.